everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Four Jobbers Podcast. I am, of course, Ginger Heat, and it has been quite the weekend with Wrestlemania. There was so much wrestling to watch, but I need some help breaking it down, and there is no one better than the Jobbers to get the job done, right? Let's introduce our first one. His name is Jordan, the Body from Kirkcaldy. Jordan Deves, all the way from Scotland. How are you doing, my friend?
Mate, check the lungs on this boy. Yes, I'm good,
Let's
mate.
go.
I'm good. You're right. There was a lot of wrestling, a lot of late nights for me.
That's true. My goodness. Did you get any sleep over the course of this past week or what?
Nah, the worst bit is, and I said this to you guys, pretty much as I was going to bed, particularly on night one with the delay and everything, the valet was pretty much getting up. So
That's crazy.
yeah, it was pretty wild. But that has obviously then meant that I'm on tea tonight.
Indeed.
Slurpy tea goodness. So yeah, I'm avoiding the beer just for one night only.
You should be taking breaks every now and then, but there is one man here who is not taking a break tonight. He is waxy, he is venomous, he is the son of the dentist, he is Ryan the Wax Mamba. How are you doing all the way from the Wax Dome?
Yes. I'm doing
wax.
great. I am so excited to discuss that certain 2-day event that happened in the last week, and I am, of course, talking about NXT Stand and Deliver. Did something else happen? I didn't know of anything else.
What a mark.
Marking out already, my goodness, but there is no bigger mark in the world. He's the biggest Shawn Michaels mark. He is enigmatic. He is charismatic. He is They Hate Jason. Jason the underwhelmed, clearly underwhelmed with what just transpired. Jason, tell us how you're feeling all the way from Lakeshore Drive.
Don't dox me.
It's a long fucking street.
I mean, the name says it all.
It's the whole length of the island.
Very underwhelmed with the whole entire weekend and the Raw as well. I need WWE to give me a break. That's why I bought myself a Kit Kat.
Wow.
And we're sponsored by Kit Kat. No, I wish we were.
Imagine.
Is that why you
Yeah,
went to
it
the
was
grocery store? Or you just bought some chocolates? Or
Just bought a Kit Kat.
There we
Yeah, I
go.
don't know. It was nice to see the fans. Everyone worked their ass off, but it was underwhelming.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I guess they definitely, night one felt like the feel-good night, didn't it? There was a lot of predictability, but everything was entertaining. You know, all in all, this WrestleMania, I think, will go down as the first WrestleMania back from pandemic with a crowd. And then there's those special moments that happen, and we've talked about it before. WWE is big on those moments now, and they certainly happen, and they were delivering them en masse, and I'm sure it resulted in tons of social media storm.
I think my favorite thing from the whole weekend, well, maybe not my favorite thing, but from night one, is the rain delay, because it made them think on the fly and give promos without it being scripted and ran over by 1,000 writers, and it showed who really can do it easily. Like the New Day could do it for 3 hours straight and keep me captivated.
Amazing.
Kevin Owens the same.
So good.
Drew and Bobby kind of struggled a bit, and I didn't really want to see them too much anymore. It's like, oh, okay, you better get them out there.
Drew's was fine, but we know that Bobby
was
shouldn't
okay,
be
but
in an extended promo.
It was meh, compared to the rest. It just shows where some people are and where some people need to be.
True.
Yeah, I think night one was the better night of the two, and we talk about predictability, but in wrestling, it's such a unique form of entertainment that we're all marks and smarks now, that predictability is not a bad thing, right? We look for that payoff, And when we get that payoff, we're not disappointed that we weren't expecting it. We were expecting it, and we're exactly. We were expecting it, and we're satisfied. And it felt like night 2 was trying too much to overcome our expectations, and that's where it fell short for me.
Yeah, I guess they tried to lull us into a false sense of security with night 1. It was like, yeah, this is what you want. Yeah, here you go, enjoy that. Night 2, suck it. You didn't expect that, did you? But it didn't actually. Like, so the first, we'll go into the matches, of course, but the first match of night 2, we all predicted incorrectly. But sometimes that's okay. Like, I don't mind a surprise. I have no problem when I go, wow, really? That's the angle you want to go with? But I need to have a payoff. And what happened was we got a surprise that didn't answer any questions. It just asked a million more. And that's the problem. And that happened a couple of times. So, yeah.
Yeah. I suspect there will be a lot to say about that particular match later on in the show.
Yeah, I guess there's 2 things that I want to go through quickly before we jump into the beast that is WrestleMania. Jordan, there was a little segment on AEW, if you want to go over that really quick, and then Waxman, if there's anything, any standouts from NXT, that you want to talk about, please go ahead, and we'd love to get some milky goodness if there's any available from NXT.
Oh, yes.
I'm sure there's plenty.
Couple cartons, bud, let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Couple bags of milk.
Well, very briefly, before we get into the rest of it then, obviously, every week we still have AEW. Just because WrestleMania and Stand and Deliver happens doesn't mean we don't have AEW. We absolutely do. And I feel like they felt a little bit worried, perhaps, about ratings, particularly with Stand and Deliver being around the same time. So they managed to bring in Iron Mike Tyson for a show. And as ever, he came out, punched somebody in the face, and left. So we're all good.
He couldn't get his shirt off. Also,
yeah. I mean, I don't know what those shirts are made of, but I've just ordered
wardrobe
some.
Malfunction in the opposite direction. It just wouldn't come off.
Yeah, I've just ordered some AEW merch. So when it arrives, I'll maybe rip it and see how tough it. No, I'm actually not going to do that. It's going to cost me far too much money.
I'm so interested to know which ones you got, but I don't want to know. I want a reveal on the pod. I think that's the best move, or at least in the group chat. But at least on the pod would be cool.
But yeah, so AEW was great this week. The standout moment that I told you guys to have a look at, and I genuinely think is just one of the best kind of bits of promo work I've seen in a long time, is the return of the Inner Circle. And Chris Jericho just busts out a promo for about 4 minutes about MJF, about what he was doing, and he had a plan all along, and what's going to happen now, and what he thinks about everybody within the Pinnacle. There is a reason that he is called the GOAT, and he displayed that so well. I mean, this guy came out, did nothing else. In fact, he got his ass kicked by MJF and the Pinnacle later in the night. But he came out, gave that promo, and I'm just sitting there almost in awe. Like, this, he is so good. He's so good on the mic. It's unbelievable, especially when he's allowed to just go. Because there's some stuff that he's saying that I just know he wouldn't have got away with in WWE. And he's obviously a little bit looser on the reins. And, just phenomenal. Just absolutely phenomenal. The way he just... He plays on stuff that's happened already, that it's what you want. Like, you don't, if it's just like, I'm going to take you down and you're going to get an ass whooping, yeah, it's fine. But if you need to talk about the experience you've had, and
it gives you everything. He gives you like the intensity, but he gives you laughs. You got to have some, and his jokes always hit, right? Like, he's just got away with it, and the way what he was calling him and stuff. I don't want to ruin it for people out there, but definitely watch that promo, because it was that's what he does. And watching the Broken Skull sessions, if you haven't watched that after Mania with Steve Austin, of course, and Chris Jericho, it's worth watching. They go into detail about AEW, which is so crazy. You're watching it on the network or on Peacock, wherever you watch, and you're listening to Stone Cold talk to Chris Jericho about AEW.
Yeah.
But it still makes you appreciate what WWE is, and I think doesn't even call it in the promo. He calls it the Federation. He's like, back when Austin Spears was in the Federation, he was coming to me for advice. The Fed.
Yeah. The Fed.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's
I was like, oh, that's crazy.
yeah, it's
So
it's
good.
it's an interesting
Love it.
dynamic for sure. I'm glad that they've done it because it does almost tease the possibility of some kind of
Is that his
Maybe
name, by
not-
the way? Austin Spears?
Sean Spears.
Sean Spears.
Sean Spears.
You're just thinking about Steve Austin.
I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, Austin isn't right. Someone
yeah.
please correct me.
Maybe not a full-on crossover, but like some kind of intertwine there. That's intriguing to me, so that's cool. But yeah, just wanted to bring up, if you haven't done it, go and watch Jericho with the Inner Circle, the promo on AEW. I
will.
Buzzing. Yeah, basically, this is not for the listeners. This is just for wax. So get it watched, you bearded freak.
Who are you calling a bearded freak?
I'm bearded, but yeah, I'm also a freak. That's fair. Yeah, okay.
Both haunted freaks. Waxman, what are you sipping on there? What's that orange can of deliciousness?
So this is a Dieu du Ciel, a Disco Soleil. It is a citrus IPA. I'm feeling the warm weather we've been having here in Montreal as of late, even though I can't necessarily go outside and enjoy it in a park of sorts.
Perfect
I
night
can
for a
still-
protest.
Yeah. No comment. No comment. Let's not go there.
No. Hey, bring us into NXT. What did you like? What did you think? You know, I mean, I think we all watched it. Did everybody check it out?
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of it.
Yeah, I
take
mean,
it.
I at the risk of sounding like a broken record, this is to anybody who's on the fence. Should I start watching NXT? Should I get invested in NXT? This 2-night pay-per-view, this will get you into NXT. This is early contender for pay-per-view of the year.
Oof.
It was that damn good. It had something for everybody. If you like slower paced, technical, cerebral wrestling, well, you had the first match of night one. Pete Dunne, Kushida vying for the title of, well, not an actual physical title, but who is the better technical wrestler? Who is the best technical wrestler in the business? And it was Pete Dunne who came out on top. If you like spots, if you like guys flying through the air and falling off stuff, well, there's MSK, Grizzled Young Veterans, Legado del Fantasma, MSK, new tag team champs. You can go over to night 2 also, and you can get yourself a Jordan Devlin versus a Santos Escobar for the unification of the Cruiserweight Championship. Santos Escobar coming out on top. Not who I picked to win, but more than satisfied with how that match went. If you want two men beating the absolute shit out of each other in a blood feud, well, you can go to the main event of night 2 and get Kyle O'Reilly sending Adam Cole home
Jason's
on
favorite.
a stretcher in a brutal, brutal match. We had 2 new champions. Our 2 biggest championships have changed hands. Congratulations, Raquel Gonzalez taking it off of Io Shirai, who has carried the NXT Women's Division for the last year. And in his 14th match ever in NXT, Karrion Kross is now a 2-time NXT
14th match.
champion. He is undefeated in NXT. This guy is looking pretty unstoppable. But
Good.
there is one match I need to highlight. It is the milkiest match, and I include WrestleMania in my count here as well. Nothing came up to this for me, just based on the brutality of the match, the physicality of the match. It was Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT UK title. The thing is, it wasn't about the predictability. I knew Walter was going to win. Of course he was going to win. They're not going to send Ciampa back to the UK and keep Walter here. Walter has gone on record saying, no, I want to stay in the UK. I'm happy there. I live there. I'm cool there. But I'd never really gotten a chance to see Walter in action. You hear about this guy, like slapping the shit out of people. In this match, you had him slap through the announce table.
That was
I
sick.
had never, I literally marked out when that happened. I went, oh my God, how do you do that? And just the sheer desperation in Ciampa trying so hard to beat Walter, even though I knew it wasn't going to happen, there were moments where I believed it was going to happen. He was going to win. And then Walter just absolutely crushed him. Came back with a last chop, and that chop was the final chop. Just a good physical wrestling match, a fight, if you will. And that's why it's got to go on the carton. It's got to be the Milky match of the week.
Wow, there you go.
And
Jason,
so
what do you
there's
think?
other
Did you see that
matches,
match?
but brilliant.
Curious about
no, I
your
didn't see
thoughts
that
on
one,
that.
but I did
You
see.
didn't see that one? Fuck.
No, I don't know who Walter is.
That's why this is a great opportunity for
You should-
people like
yeah.
you who've not seen him before. He's finally on the pay-per-views that we watch, and it's a good chance to see him. So I definitely recommend going back, checking that out later.
Yeah, I must say, you look at Walter
Idiot.
just standing there in the ring. He doesn't look like the most imposing guy. He's not. He doesn't have the Vince McMahon physique. He's for a wrestler, he's average height, right? He's whatever. But oh my God, you see this guy move, and just those chops. You feel them. You feel them through your television set.
Yo, he took some though. His chest was fucking. Yo,
Yes.
Ciampa can throw him back.
Yeah, so this is a match that promised to be a physical, brutal, violent match. It edges out Cole and O'Reilly just because it didn't need weapons, but it still felt almost as brutal as Cole O'Reilly. So I got to give the edge there. Yeah.
It gives me a nice glimpse into the mind of Wax, because for me, and I'm just going to clarify by saying I have no say whatsoever in which milky bastard you decide to pick. However, I'm the other way around. I preferred the O'Reilly
Very
Cole
valid.
match. I think
Very valid.
I enjoy the whole like big chops and slaps and all that kind of stuff. Like I watch it and go, wow, that looks brutal, because it is real. You know, you can't fake a chop as such, unless you hold back on it, but then it wouldn't be a chop. So yeah, like I like seeing that, but see when it's just the same thing over and over in a match, I kind of lose a little bit of excitement in it. But yeah, a phenomenal match. I think I edged the other way on that one though.
Totally reasonable. This match actually gave a real purpose to the meaning of an unsanctioned match. It's literally, we cannot be held responsible for what you guys want to do and will do to each other. And the other time in that whole 2-day event that I marked out was when they went through the stage, because I was not expecting that. That was insane. So great. Good. That's a very, it's 1A, 1B, really. So very valid.
Sure. There we go.
You have a favorite match from NXT, Jay? It's okay if you don't. I was just curious if you did, because I don't get to hear your takes on NXT a lot, so I'm curious to have some.
I guess it would be that one. The main what's his name? Where they went through the stage.
Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. Yeah.
I guess it would be that one, because that's the only one I can remember from what I watched. I only saw a couple matches though. I don't have the investment. Like, I don't know these guys, I don't know their stories.
That's fair.
So to me, it was just a really hard fought match. They put a lot of work into that match. It's not my favorite kind of, like, I think they did too much, maybe even, like, I don't know. It was too much for me. But like
spots and stuff, you mean?
Too much spots. Like it just kind of took me out of, like, I couldn't believe that they went through all this, and I don't know. Maybe it's just, but the work that they put in was incredible. So you can't deny that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I think there's a couple of moments in that match that exactly that point, Jason, where we're led to believe that a few weeks ago, Kyle O'Reilly gets dropped on his head on the stairs, and he's out for a few weeks, and he's not medically cleared yet, and that's why it was unsanctioned. But yet, Kyle O'Reilly did that exact same move to Adam Cole, and Adam Cole got up and finished the match. And it's moments like that I'm like,
you push it too far, you can't bring it back. That's the only thing.
Exactly,
and
I understand that. Yeah.
There were some headshots though. That was cool. Definitely good. There's a little bit of blood on a hand, even though there was none on the faces because they can't. They did. I feel like it's a very NXT style match, whereas the main card you wouldn't see a match like that or it wouldn't be done the same way. So it's definitely a contrasting style, but super fun. Enjoyed it. The point is to be entertained, and I was fucking entertained. The convulsing at the end, Adam Cole, questionable with the convulsing, but funny nonetheless, and obviously, whatever, it doesn't detract from it. It was just funny. But certainly, NXT set the bar for the weekend, did they not? My
Yes, they did. They didn't set the bar. They are the bar.
Well, no, AEW's the bar, but it's fine. We'll let you have it.
The bar was moving around everywhere, but fantastic. And that brings us into
Let's do it.
WrestleMania, right? I mean, we can go into it. Is there a certain way you guys want to go through this? Do you want me to go through it match by match and we just break it down and tell me what you think?
WrestleMania, we should do it match by match a little bit.
Let's do it. Obviously, the first moment that I just want to... We have spoken about it a little bit, but I just want everybody to be aware of my particular favourite moment of, and many people's favourite moment of WrestleMania is obviously the open with
Poncho Cole.
Poncho Cole. Wow. I mean, I understand
That's
that,
how you kick
know,
it off. Poncho Cole.
I understand that you don't want them to get wet either, but really, that's what you're going to go with, ponchos? Like, could they not have just done it from backstage like everybody else?
Or do it like the sportscasters and have the umbrella.
Yeah,
There we
anything. But
Been awesome.
And we wouldn't have Poncho Cole, so
That's true.
Yeah. The memes were well worth it. Poncho Cole is fantastic.
I think my favourite thing about all those photos is Poncho Cole talking away, but it's the fact that Samoa Joe is just standing next to him, just like, I hate this. This
And he's
sucks.
just like, hey, Joe, you know about weather, right?
Yeah, you know about weather. You've been in
hey Joe,
in
you're
air.
the god of lightning. You know what that's about?
You've seen rain before? Wow.
What up, Zeus? Oh, that was so good. And WrestleRania, obviously, Cole coined WrestleRania, so that was fantastic, right? I mean, that's gold. Or someone said into his ear. I don't know. Either way, it was definitely a good call.
Yeah.
And like Jason said, getting to see some unscripted stuff, getting to see them just roll with the punches and give us real live, not know what's going to happen. They don't know where they're going type of stuff. It also led to some slips and falls and things, which were really funny. Obviously the notable one being Mandy Rose falling on her butt. Hilarious.
I'm starting to think that was on purpose.
No.
I mean,
Really?
Well,
as
just
an
the way-
actor, it's pretty hard to do it that well. Like if she did,
it was so like
kudos.
I mean, it's just the way they. I don't know. I guess WWE like leans into things now, like almost too much, because they made it an angle, and then she's on social media, and then I fell, blah blah blah. So like, I started to think it was a work because they were working it so hard. I don't know.
Either way, it's still funny. Not as funny.
It was
if
hilarious,
on purpose,
yeah.
but still funny. There was another one. I'm trying to think of the funny moments that happened in the pre-show. I just have
Multiple
one out of,
nip slips.
Yeah, there
Was there?
There were.
Yeah.
You may have noticed that the feed cut out for a couple moments in a couple of the
Carmella nip and
Dana Brooke.
Dana Brooke nip.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
One had the
I
slip,
no
and the
idea.
other had the nip. That could be the new tag team name: Nip Slip. Slip Nip.
Nip and slip.
Nip and Slip.
It was it. Braun
I think-
Strowman was in an interview, and they were like, "Hey, Braun, you're in the best shape of your life, and it really feels it." And I was like,
You got
"Feeling
wet
it,
mouth.
Harper." Oh yeah, wet mouth. Wet mouth was so good, Biggie. That's gold.
Class.
Titus was pretty hype. What did you think of Titus O'Neil and Hulk Hogan as
Pirate
the-
Hogan.
Pirate
Yeah.
Hogan is another meme that came out. Obviously, my
Was
goodness.
It's an interesting collaboration for sure.
do we need hosts? Is
No.
my real question.
Not if
Is-
they're gonna just deliver horrible nursery rhyme promos, like
Yeah, they were
gimmicky
terrible.
garbage that no one needs to hear. Having a cool host, it could work, but these
But you have
guys
to have
weren't
jokes.
hosts.
Where were the jokes?
There
There's
was
no
It
jokes.
was literally just Hulk Hogan.
Not
going,
good
"Look,
ones."
Remember me? I say brother a lot. Brother.
Pirate brother, bounty brother.
Reminds me
Did he
of
say ho, ho,
when
ho?
Shawn Michaels made fun of him. When he went on Larry King, and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
brother."
Then they had a couple of jokes like, "You're not gonna make me walk the plank, plank."
Plank.
Yeah,
The plank, yeah. Don't make me walk the plank, brother. Or I don't know. It was.
Yeah,
it
see, that's
was
what I mean. They're not good.
No.
They don't deserve to be called jokes. But they were serviceable. I'd rather someone next time that's actually deliver jokes or like play off of the characters. Be in the backstage and try to interview people, but interact with them, make it funny. Like that's all we want, right? Is the main thing. This is wrestling, so you're either going to make it crazy and like Alexa Bliss level of hauntedness, or you're going to have some badass fucking just wrestling matches, or I want some goofy, funny stuff. But it has to be funny. It can't just be goofy and garbage. Just because it's goofy doesn't mean it's funny.
It could
It
be
needs to
so
actually have
garbage
jokes.
that it's good, but it didn't even get to that.
It didn't get to. It was just
Area.
cringe.
It was just
right.
Go
So
away.
let the people go. You have two incredible people with Titus and Hulk. Let them talk to people in the back and see what happens. Like,
Yeah.
maybe that's too dangerous with Hulk, but Titus could have done it alone and interviewed people in funny ways, I'm sure. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they had the startings of that, when Bailey would come in, and Bailey was great when working with
props
them.
to Bailey. She should have been the
Bailey
host.
was really
She
good.
should have been the host.
Yeah, Bailey would have
Yeah.
been perfect
I guess
host.
she
The
kind of
Ding Dong.
was.
She's
Yeah, she took
unofficial
over as
host. Yeah.
She deserves props for that.
The
And
way she turned her character around, and it's really good. It's crazy. Like just to think what she was before, was the most white meat babyface of all time,
Yep.
and just comes out and hugs people, and just like so bland. And now she's turned it 100% the other way, and it's great. Like props
And
to
now
her.
she comes out
Amazing.
and goes, "Ring ding dong."
Calling
Michael
Cole
Cole, you little
stupid.
idiot.
That's the best. And it's sad. I don't know. I guess is there no more Cole? Is Cole done,
Wow.
or is he on SmackDown?
I think he's on SmackDown.
Maybe.
Thought I was rid of him. Adnan, shout out. So that leads us into, I guess we can get right into it. One more last thing. Vince McMahon kicking it off.
Yeah.
Always
I
special
was
anytime
okay-
we get
I
to
was
see
okay
him now.
it, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's sad to see him because he's so far from what he was, and it doesn't even feel like that long ago. But
I think he still looks good. He's got the voice.
Yeah.
That's what I want
I
to hear.
think the beauty of that was that he wasn't delivering a promo, because we've seen him do promos
He did what he had to do,
recently
yeah.
and it was poor.
Yeah,
But
it's the
seeing
new
him just
version of Vince
talk,
now.
just seeing him talk about what he was, he's excited about, that's fine. That was from the heart.
Yeah.
Who knows how many more of those we'll
Very
get?
good.
Let's enjoy it while we can. I mean,
Absolutely.
honestly, so good to see him.
sure.
But that brings us to, of course, Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. What did you guys think of this? We're going to start with Jordan because it's his boy, Drew McIntyre. Tell me what you think, bud.
Okay. The match was fine. I'm not a huge fan of. Well, obviously, I'm a massive Drew fan. I'm not a huge fan, objectively, of Bobby Lashley. I don't think he's a great worker. He puts on matches and he looks strong and he looks able, but there's just something about him I just don't enjoy watching him.
Some people have that. Yeah, some people say that. So you're not alone in those feelings.
I think for the first, obviously we didn't know the card, when things were happening. The minute this match was announced, by the way, that's going to be kicking off WrestleMania Night 1, I messaged you guys and said, cool, then my prediction's out the window because Drew is, he's going to lose. There's no way Drew's going to win.
I called that on the last podcast.
Yeah.
In our predictions show, I said if this match is anywhere earlier on the card than the end, it will be Bobby because they will not do that to Drew. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So if they want to keep going with Bobby as champion, which makes sense, they'll put it somewhere early. And boy, they kicked it off. And so that's when that text came in. And yeah, of course.
It was a long match. It was, it was 18 minutes. And
Was it really?
18 minutes.
I thought it was a fast one. I thought
No.
I was
It felt
gonna say
fast, yeah.
They didn't give it enough time, but it felt like a
No,
squash.
it was 18 minutes. The argument that we had at the debate we had at the time was whether or not it was full on schmoz. I think if that's what the angle they were trying to go with, I don't think they pulled it off very well because the distraction wasn't a distraction. It was just Drew looked
But
that
it's
way.
still a distraction because MVP did something and he looked away. So
But
whether it was
MVP
executed poorly or not, it's still the valet or whatever you want to call it interfered in the match in a way that led to his person winning the match. In my opinion,
It was built
it's
into
a
the
schmoz.
ending.
It's not clean.
It was overtly a distraction to its detriment.
I
'Cause
didn't.
was
Yeah,
so
it was
ridiculous.
not necessary. I would
I
have rather
understand
him
that
lose
was
clean
the-
than have that garbage little
What
squawk
did he even
that led
say?
to
Like,
him losing.
"Rah!" And he's like,
He's
Yeah,
like,
but nothing-
hey,
that's the
Drew, or
thing.
something like.
He
hey,
didn't
hey, Drew
actually
McIntyre.
do anything. Yeah, he literally went, hey Drew, you alright?
Yeah.
And he just went, what? Yeah, I'm fine. Looked up, and then that was it.
In the moment it happened, I thought he slipped. I figured
did
it's
I.
the rain. He slipped,
Oh,
and it then when it directly led to the end of the match, I'm like, no, something happened. I have to go back.
I
and-
thought there was something that had happened, like a slip or whatever. And it wasn't until I watched it again, they're like, oh, he distracted him. And I'm like, did he? And oh, yeah.
so I heard the bark, I saw the slip, and I was like, really? They're going to do that? And then
I think
then,
if it's going to be a distraction, it needs to be obvious. So something like him jumping up onto the apron or whatever. Just make it more obvious if
use the
that's
cane and
angle.
hook his leg.
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
fine.
Yeah.
Give me some
If you're gonna
classic-
have
More
one little
obvious.
thing distract him, like fans yell stuff all the time. Why didn't you get distracted by every single
exactly.
person, every single freak who yells something? And you're gonna have MVP say that. What?
So that for me is why I don't think it's a
He's wrestled
schmoz,
all over the
because
world in
that's-
the Thunderdome, everywhere. And
That's
this one
Drew,
little bark. Come on.
Drew got distracted rather than MVP distracted Drew. So that's my opinion.
He didn't say anything the entire match until he barked at Drew, and I think he said, "Hey, Drew," or something stupid like that.
Yeah, but
it
that's
wasn't even just a bark. He said something.
And there's people in the audience that shout, "Drew, eat my
but
balls."
apparently, but it's
And that
written
doesn't do
into
anything.
it, you know.
but regardless, it was built. It was the end of the match. Like that's what was written. Like he will get distracted and lose. That's like so. That is a schmoz ending, sort of. Some
It
people
has
think schmoz
outside,
is-
in my opinion, it has outside interference that altered the ending of the match.
I don't know. Some people think schmoz is when the ending gets thrown out. Like someone interferes and they just go call off.
Yeah,
the match,
no, I know.
kind of schmoz.
No.
Yeah, there's smosh finishes, if you want to like call it like that. But
think there's
let's-
another
like,
word for,
Rhea
like, a
versus
messed up
Asuka.
finish.
Did anything happen there that would say that was the schmoz, or they had a match, one person defeated the other, and that was it
Yeah,
in
I wouldn't-
within the rules of wrestling.
I wouldn't say it was clean in
Most
the
certainly not.
truest sense of the word, but I wouldn't have said it's a schmoz. Maybe we need to find a different word for it.
Like all
think
the
there
articles that write about this match say, like they'll mention it. They say that Bobby Lashley defeats Drew due to a distraction that led to a finish. Though, like it's written into every article because it's one of the most important parts of the story is not Bobby Lashley beats Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship clean, because that did not happen.
Yeah, because even though it didn't land
Yeah,
maybe the way they intended, because it was meant to have a direct outcome on the result of the match or on the finish of the match, I would still call it a schmoz.
Interesting. I'm looking up the definition of schmoz.
But the interesting
right
thing
now.
is, maybe there's a different word for it or whatever. Drew is protected. Bobby is protected. Bobby looks amazing. Drew gets protected because of this bark of sorts that led to his downfall. And now, and like you say, Jay, it felt like a squash. It didn't to me. It felt like, it wasn't Drew's time or whatever.
So-
like,
oh,
it
you know
just-
what it was? I think it's a dusty finish.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that.
It certainly was dusty. I like that. I love the word dust.
Finish in
And if
which the face appears. Oh no, that appears to win a big match, but the decision is reversed due to some sort of technicality. Okay, never mind.
So it's not the finish was dust, though. I'll tell fucking. Anyway, while you guys are looking for that, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to say about this match? I mean, we looked at them both on Raw, and the storyline isn't progressing in a way that I particularly enjoy, but maybe you guys have different thoughts on it.
No, going into Raw, I mean, if we're going to talk about Raw a little bit,
Let's not.
basically,
Because it's the main storyline, like-
yeah, it looks like Drew's going to get another chance at it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, obviously, I'm happy about that because I would love to see Drew with the title all the time. But I do feel like if you're anybody else on that card, Bobby got a win at WrestleMania because they gave him the win at WrestleMania, not because he seems deserving of it, if that makes sense. Because the minute WrestleMania is done with, they seem to be like, cool, let's put Drew back in again and make him, win it back at some point. Like, I just don't.
Yeah, I'm hoping it goes in a different direction. I'm hoping either someone interferes and Drew
Yeah,
gets mad at
and
them,
we've
and now
only
they
had
go and
one
do their
Raw.
thing.
So
Yeah, exactly. So where are they going to go with this? Is what we're wondering, and I
And
hope
that's
it's not
fine.
just Drew versus Bobby continuing. That chances are that's where this goes. But personally, I'd like to see.
Yeah.
Give me someone else. Get Drew to go fight fucking anyone else. Go fight Sheamus for the U.S. title for a bit. I'm fine with that. Let the guys have fun. Let them roll out some promos of their own and get someone else to fight Bobby. I don't know. There's tons of options. What does Braun do now? Big dummy. Are they going to put him up against him? I don't know. They might. Right? There's lots of options.
Raw, you've got, obviously, we'll get onto it eventually, but Bray Wyatt or The Fiend. You've got Braun. You've got, I guess, Randy could be in the main title picture.
There's a gentleman who hasn't been seen for some time named Keith Lee, who I think would be great in a program with Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
Well, he was a given. He was obvious.
He might have been seen last night. I don't know. A couple nights ago on WrestleMania. I don't know. But, that's that match, I guess. We can move into, which is Jason's match of the night. He told us all the night of course, the tag team turmoil match. Jason, this was your favorite. Why don't you kick it off? Tell us how you thought this match went.
Nothing more to say than a 5-star Dave Meltzer barn burner. And that's it. That's all I can say about it.
That's all I got to say about that.
But it just is.
There's no reasoning. Okay, it's just a feeling that you have.
Exuded WrestleMania.
It's like when you have so many botches that it reverses into a perfect match. Like if you have a certain amount of perfect matches, I don't know. I can't explain it.
We botched our way to the other side,
I
Michael.
thought you were good at math.
Inception of botches.
Yeah.
There were so many botches that even the announcer called the wrong teams winning.
Yeah.
I was confused.
I
as hell.
forgot about
Even when the Riot Squad wins, they don't win.
that. Don't win.
But no,
It's
for real,
yeah.
I just want to say, like, I don't even blame everyone in this match. I don't blame the wrestlers, the workers. They're doing the best they can with this horrible position they've been booked into, where no one cares about these teams, and they're just
They haven't been fighting each other. They haven't been fighting as teams. So, like, what the hell? How are they supposed to put on
literally
a 5-star match?
one team's first match, I think, right? The Carmella and
They were great.
Billy.
Yeah, they were great.
That is gold. I am fully in. I am fully invested. All in.
But it's just no one really cared about it. Like it was just give them a WrestleMania match. Everyone give them some time for which is fine. So everyone gets a match. That's what it was.
It's the women's tag team division in a nutshell. These women some of them are talented and should be more utilized than they are. And
only some.
Carmella, Billy Kay, that could be a great
gold
tag team pairing just for comedy. But yeah,
they can work. They can work. They've both been in tag teams before. I feel like they could make it work.
Absolutely. But it's just, again, it's the women's tag team division in a nutshell in that match. It's just nobody cared enough to even really keep track of who was beating who and who was winning, and this happened and this person forgot their cue and this person fell. It was just a mess. Big mess.
Yeah, it's a shame. Some really talented women in there. Really talented women, and take them out of the tag team and put them against anybody in a singles run, I think you'd be pretty happy with that. But yeah, you're right. Together, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Do you think you remember that pay-per-view that was, I think it was an all-women's pay-per-view?
Revolution?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it'd be bad to bring that back again? Like, so you can like start building up some characters so we care more about, more of the roster?
If what you're trying to do is build character and build these women in terms of their gimmicks and everything like that, I have a perfect place for it. It's called NXT.
No, because they come up and then they ruin them. So we got to build them once they're up again. You got to build them back up.
But it's because they brought them up far too early. Like most of the people that were in that match had never been in a title run in NXT, so they had no extended time there. So when they've come up, it's like, like Carmella, for example, came up as part of Enzo and Cass, but you'd never seen her do anything on NXT. Mandy Rose came up, and I didn't even know who she was, but they kept talking about her being from NXT, and I'm like,
yeah, Naomi was a funkadactyl.
Yeah,
when she came in.
So,
Alexa Bliss was a cheerleader when she started.
She was part of
She never won a title, right?
Murphy and the other one.
Blake and Murphy.
Buddy
Blake and Murphy.
Buddy and
These-
Murphy.
Some of the Buddy and Murphy. So some of these people work out, of course, but I don't think a lot of them had gimmicks. So,
I think they should just give them, rather than throw them in random matches, they should give them more segments or more personality boosting
Yes.
little moments that spliced in throughout Raw. Because like I don't care
story and
about
character,
any of them,
really?
not because they're not doing well. They don't get the chance to. Like the Riot Squad, to me, is all they do is lose and hug each other, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know anything about them. Like what or
The only woman they're really giving a lot of, or one of the women they're giving a lot of screen time to, hasn't wrestled
Billy?
a match in a
Billy
year.
Kay?
Alexa Bliss.
oh
Yeah.
her too, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because
Like,
she's built into a big feud on the men's side. That's why.
I understand that, but it's like some of that time either put Alexa back in the ring if she can medically, or give some of that time to another women's wrestler on the
I
roster.
hope that's coming because
I hope
she
so.
looks like she might be headed for singles now with this new gimmick that she has, this new solo little thing that she's doing.
yeah.
Very sick, by the way. I'm down for it. So far from where she was to where she is now. I'm excited to see where they go with it. And like you're saying, I hope she's medically cleared that she can get in the ring and start wrestling again because she's a fantastic worker.
Yeah, for
She
sure.
always brings something, some extra dynamic to it that's always exciting. Just like that elbow thing that she did that time and stuff. You never know what she's going to do.
the-
So,
Elbow supper.
oh, that was so good. Oh, elbow supper. But that brings us next into Rollins versus Cesaro. Waxman, what did you think of this one?
Oh, what a match. I think we all knew this was going to be a good wrestling match.
Yeah, for sure.
It was two great workers, two of the best company guys, two of the best, most reliable performers in the ring. And my God, is Cesaro over or what? I know when he was has he been doing this for a while? Because everyone in the crowd was doing it with him, and it's just swinging a guy around. But people were so into it. They need to capitalize on this momentum. Cesaro is red hot right now. I understand he is not the best on the mic, but he's one of the best in the ring, and surely you can even that out. Not every WWE champion has been amazing on the mic. We know that. It was a great match. I had a great time with it, and even though I knew Cesaro was going to win, it didn't matter. It was still super entertaining.
Yeah. I agree with everything he said.
It's was it match of the night for that night, or maybe I think it was second for me.
Let me just look at the card again just to make sure.
Yeah, look at the card.
Was
look
it
at
better
the card.
than... Well, let's finish the card first and go
yeah,
back,
let's
because
finish
maybe
the
there's
card.
one
Alright.
to come.
It's
I don't
up
have much
there.
to-
Not sure.
I don't have much to say about the Cesaro Seth match other
Yeah.
than like they delivered because they're two of the best workers maybe ever. And I wasn't really invested in the match, but I enjoyed
The reason
work
why
they
we
put
weren't
in.
is because there's not enough story there. It
They
was
tried to
just-
build some.
they-
They had
they
some
tried,
story. They
yeah.
had some story, but I
There
just
was some. I'm not saying there was zero, but there wasn't a red hot story, right? It was.
I
Seth
love
is
Seth.
is kind of mad at Cesaro because he's wasting his potential.
I'm hoping the main purpose of the match
That's
is
it?
to really sort of give Cesaro a win in singles
Yes.
competition
He has
at
a
WrestleMania
WrestleMania
and
win.
give him
Yeah.
a jumping off point.
Yeah, I'm excited for SmackDown on Friday because I just want to see what they do with that. He seems to be a kind of right in the middle of the show, that mid card guy just now. He's just had a win at Mania. Don't put him back in with Seth. I think let's move away from that. Seth can do his own thing now. Let's keep him doing whatever. Let's see what Cesaro's going to do next. And I'm excited for Friday to see what happens with that. Yeah, great match. Great workers. Let's build on that. Now, they perhaps haven't done that with Raw last night, but that's okay. It's a different show. Maybe they'll do it with SmackDown, so we'll see what happens.
So that brings us next to the New Day versus AJ and Omos. Jason, what did you think of that?
I'm actually not surprised that Omos didn't have gear. Like we were all contemplating what kind of gear he'd have, and because it was fun. But in the back of my head, I'm like, he might just walk in like he always does, And he did.
It was a little different. He had a button-up
Well, yeah, and he had the
Shirt.
whatever. Like he just seeing him on the apron, it looked like he was a creative wrestler that you just made too tall. He just looked surreal, and it was basically this whole match. Even though AJ Styles and the New Day are three of the best wrestlers ever, everyone was focused on the rookie because this was all just to see how insanely beastly he was, and they did a good job. They were bouncing
and they made
off
us
him,
wait.
literally
They made us
bouncing
wait.
off of him, literally.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we got what we wanted. He showed his dominance. He won, and that's all I really wanted from this. So now we see where it goes from here.
Yeah,
It was
I
a good.
think if I'd seen a little bit more from him, it would have been a great match for me. Because the actual match up until seeing him was good because you've got Kofi, Xavier,
Less
and
is more.
AJ. You know, they're great in themselves. But then the minute he came in, I was like, all right, let's see what you can do. And he did do some stuff, but I think I kind of wanted to see something a little bit. I'm not expecting him to be Ricochet doing 540 splashes off the top rope, but
Could you imagine?
If he did, imagine.
I'm here. If he does it, let's go. But and I'm not expecting that. That's okay. But just a little bit more would have been good. But yeah, it was exciting to see him nonetheless.
I think the goal was to establish him as just so big. He's dominant. He's unbreakable. Not so much like, yeah, he wasn't an amazing wrestler, but I wasn't expecting that. And honestly, we were all sort of exchanging this before and during the match. We were legitimately excited to see just this guy. And you have three of the best in the company in the ring right now, yelling at each other, barking at each other, doing, wrestling a good match. And all you can think about is, okay, but when's that guy coming in?
Yeah.
And they actually built that very well, and they pulled it off really well. And I'm pretty happy that AJ and Omos won, because now the story is, how do you beat this guy? What are you going to do?
And AJ Styles is there just in case, also, right?
Just in case you knock over the big guy, you have the best ever, maybe, to deal with. So
and
I'm
it was
excited.
an interesting
True.
having the crowd there, because it's like a heel face flip. The New Day came out and they were clearly the fan favorites because AJ and Omos were the bad guys. But throughout the match, you wanted Omos to come in so bad, and when he did, he was endearing. He has a great smile. He's charismatic. He makes you like him. So it's hard for me to be like, this guy's a bad guy. Like, I get he's a bad guy, but you could hear the crowd, all of us, we wanted him to win. And he did, so it was a good feel-good moment there when it's supposed to be a heel, right?
Yeah.
So interesting.
You can't hate a guy with a tooth gap. It's just not possible.
That's a good point.
You smile and that tooth gap shows. It's all good.
It's endearing. Yeah.
It was interesting the way the dynamic went with New Day. When they were talking before coming out, and then when they came out, I was like, oh, they seem a bit more, like, not negative, but just like in your face about it. And then throughout the match, they're like teasing Omos with AJ, and I was like, wow, what is going on here? I didn't watch Raw because I was told not to. But were the New Day and AJ on there as part of the show?
AJ wasn't.
AJ,
The New Day was, but they didn't really address it.
The New Day made fun of Jackson Riker.
Riker's
And
Island.
I don't care about those guys at all. Those two guys were getting beat up by Braun, and they were going in on him like so hard, and then everyone's to think in their back of their head, hey, didn't you two get beat by that big guy too, like by one guy? So they were playing off that fact, and then Jackson Riker's what's the other? Elias is like, who are you talking about? You got beat by one guy too, and then they fought.
Interesting. Okay.
Pish.
It wasn't interesting, but
But
yeah,
they were entertaining.
an interesting
But
shift
anyway.
in the dynamic, at least for that night. Anyway.
yeah,
We'll see
and
where it goes from there.
You knew Omos was going to get in the ring eventually. He wasn't just going to be AJ Styles' friend. It's sort of like Chekhov's gun, right? You don't put a gun on the wall unless that gun gets fired. You don't bring in a 7'4", 450-pound big man if he's not going to get in the ring. It's McMahon's gun instead of Chekhov's gun.
Yeah. Class.
But yeah, I think what was it the greatest wrestling match we ever seen? No, but it did what it needed to do. It hit all the marks.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely did. And that brings us to another belter of a match. Shano versus Brano in the Steelo Cajo macho of the night. It had the cool moment there where he ripped the cage open, but besides that, I don't think there was too much else. The big bump by Shane. But Jordan, what do you have to say on this one?
It was a cage match. I expected it to be some kind of match that made a height so that Shane could jump from it. That was pretty much it. It wasn't exciting at all. I knew that Elias and Riker were going to do something in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, it is what it is. It wasn't very exciting at all. In saying that, the chainmail rip bit that Braun did, I've never seen that before in a cage match. I've seen whole panels fall out, but to rip it off and see the bits flying everywhere,
That was sick.
That was class. I really enjoyed that.
It's a moment you'll remember. WrestleMania
Exactly,
moment.
and we've already said it. This night one was all about moments that you'll remember. Omos, not going down and throwing Kofi around, Chain getting ripped off the walls and event. Yeah, it's fine. It was a good moment. That's it. That's it.
I think I enjoyed it overall more than I thought I would. I wasn't looking forward to it. And, it started off, I thought Braun was giving up too much to Shane, which a lot of people do when they wrestle Shane.
Yeah,
but
still.
he made up for it, obviously, by literally ripping the cage, so that brought me back into it, like, okay, this guy's a monster. And then I thought he was going to power slam him off the top.
So did I.
Maybe he's asking too much. I don't know. Maybe he's asking too much. But if he did, that would have been, just imagine he did that, like.
He should have.
Like not actually
definitely
cram him, but just carry him and hopefully.
Yeah, just fall with him.
I don't know.
I don't know. There had to have been a way to do it.
Whatever. It did what it had to do.
It did what it had to do.
In the end,
it was a kids match.
I was okay with it. So it gave me a moment that I enjoyed. So
yeah,
at least
there you go.
Yeah, true. So that brings us, unless you want to say something else on that match, Wax. I don't know. It's a milky match contender.
That's not. No, I think everyone covered it. I don't really remember anything that happened in the match except for the 2 bits, or the 3 bits, I guess. Riker breaking into the cage like he broke into the Capitol building. Braun ripping off the cage. Yes, Jackson Riker, excuse me. Braun ripping the cage open. That was pretty cool. And Shane, we all knew he was going to jump off that cage or fall off that cage or be thrown off the cage. I don't remember anything that happened in between, but like Jason said, you got those moments, and that part was cool.
There was actually one other thing that I thought was clever. Shane putting the bags of tools at the top of the cage. And when he was about to get out and Braun grabbed him, he hit him with something. I'm like, oh, that's clever.
It's a toolbox. I think he took the toolbox out and crushed him in the head with it.
Yeah,
that was great.
I thought that was good, too. He had little moments that he had to have, because when Braun came out for that match, he looked insane. His body's insane. Like, he's so ripped and jacked and strong.
Sexy.
It was I've never
I don't know about the merch side of it, of course, because that is a big contributor for who's over and whatnot. But he's just not over, though, for a guy who looks as good as he does and who can do some insane amount of stuff. He's just not over. I don't think anybody cares about him.
They didn't handle him well. Even at the end of this match, when it, I think Wax brought it up, it was going pretty well at the end, a couple moments, and then he's like, "This is for anyone that's been called stupid." They turned it into like this after-school program. It's like, oh, great.
So this is either
every time
this
they
is either
give him
to get him over with the kids, or he's already over with them.
Killer, they bring it back a bit and make him a little baby Lala, and that's why no one cares about him.
But if you're going to have like a 10, 15-year career and he wants to get the kids on board now, I mean, this could be what that is, right? It's okay. Either the kids are already on board and he needs to cater to them, or he needs that behind him, and they do this angle, and now all of a sudden you have this big, fan base now. I don't know. I'm just trying to think
kids
of
more with this sappy message,
Why?
or to just be a beast that destroys people. I don't know. When I was a kid, I wouldn't like if they called you stupid, la la la. Like, I would prefer the guy that breaks through the wall, just goes and
There's a way to do it that's more, I don't know. Maybe kids aren't that stupid. You could.
I loved Kane.
Clean up a
Kane
little
didn't
bit.
say, "This
I
is
don't
for every. I'm going to burn this guy alive for everyone."
You loved Kane that much when you were young.
Stupid.
No, you were afraid of him.
you don't, just to clarify, Jason, you don't like your big men with a train whistle that goes off every time he makes a run. You don't like that.
Hey, sounds like the water boy, Bobby Boucher.
Yeah.
No, he's got to stop doing that train thing. He keeps getting hit with a new foreign object every time he comes around the track.
Well, that brings us into the next one. It was Bad Bunny and
Match of the
Damian
night.
Priest versus Miz and Morrison. Jason, what did you think of your boy's performance, Bad Bunny?
I did not expect to like Bad Bunny this much, but I think he's done from the start to the finish an absolutely spectacular job. I've heard of him before. I don't listen to his music. I think I heard he's on a track with Drake once. I didn't know who he was. But like, I just feel like he has something about him, like an it factor or something, like a coolness to him. Like, they just did really well with him. I cared about him. I actually cared about this match. I know Jordan didn't, which is fair because it's just kind of like this one-off match. But I actually cared about it. I was really enthralled to see what he could do, and he kept delivering. He kept doing moves. Like, he kept me in it. He was selling. He was taking a beating. Like, I thought he did a spectacular job, and I really loved this match a lot more than I thought I would.
Good thing the crowd was behind him. The crowd was fully bought into Bad Bunny. That helped a lot.
Best entrance of the night. I mean, actually, the Bunny entrance was pretty cool too. But obviously, his was meant to be the best entrance of the night on the truck and all that.
And the bunnies with their ears falling off.
Yeah,
holding their heads up.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think he did a great job. You guys can tell me if I'm marking out here.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
But I think he did great.
Yeah, I want to hear Wax's take because also Damian Priest was in this, who I thought did a good job
that's
as
true.
well. Monday night, not as good, but Damian Priest was good in this match. Him and Bad Bunny together, so that's your dude from NXT.
Yeah, Monday night notwithstanding, Damian Priest did what he needed to do. He got a win at WrestleMania, which is super important for a guy who's just breaking in to the big roster. You knew it was going to happen, right? A celebrity doesn't usually show up for a match and lose. And Miz and Morrison, they're just so entertaining. I don't mind. They don't lose anything by losing, right? So not only did it get Damian Priest over, but it allowed us to see Bad Bunny. I also didn't know who he was beforehand. He's not my type of music at all, but he looked good in the ring. And I'm wondering if he was better in his debut match or if Pat McAfee was better in his debut match.
I'm gonna give it to Bunny, but they both did well. But
They both did well. Yeah, it would be an interesting thought. I'd have to go back and watch Pat McAfee's match against Adam Cole and really compare. They both were good, so it's been a good year so far for celebrities in the ring. Except for the one on night 2. He wasn't giving.
He wasn't
wrestling.
He gave us what we wanted, though.
Yeah, that's true. He delivered.
Gave us exactly what everybody wanted. Everyone was begging for it. Come on, please, 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 and it happened. So
probably the biggest pop of the night too.
Yeah,
we're gonna get into this one now. So that was great. Bad Bunny and all that. I definitely enjoyed it. Gave us, entertainment. And while I was watching it, I was thinking, what a dream come true. Can you imagine?
Yeah, he
being
seems
Bad
legit,
Bunny,
like a legit fan.
like real fan,
Yeah.
and then, having the money and the place in life where you could practice as much as you needed to leading up to it. And clearly, he's been trained by somebody. He did a great job.
Yeah.
So
I think it was the general manager guy there, Adam Pearce, helped train him.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Then let's
job.
get Pierce in the ring.
Yeah, we've been wanting that.
I enjoyed this match. I wasn't excited because I don't know how can I put this. I don't really enjoy watching celebrities in the ring because I think I've just seen so many bad celebrities get involved in the ring. So every time I hear about it, I'm like, this is just going to be crap. He did surprise me. I thought he was great. There were a couple of moments where I could tell he was in his head and he's overthinking a couple of the moves, but your first ever wrestling match at WrestleMania and you're not a wrestler, I'll give him that, I thought, he did an amazing job. I think Damian Priest was great as well. And you're right, Miz and Morrison were literally there to carry these two newbies, if you want to call them that, along for the ride. So I thought it was great. Really enjoyed it. I don't think we need to see too much more of that, but
I wish they would be a legit team. I don't know. They work good together, and when they did that move in sequence, and I thought it was over because it's like a super amazing way to win. Oh, they did it at the same time, and it wasn't. That actually shocked me. They actually got a pop out of me, like, oh, it's not over. Like,
I quite enjoyed after the match, or was it maybe the next night or whatever? They had that little promo with Triple H, and he hands him the briefcase and goes, "You did well, but it's time to get back to your thing." And he opens it, and it's a mic. Like that was a nice touch because it was obviously you've done so much for us for WrestleMania, and imagine the amount of fans that would have tuned in that are a fan of his music. You know, if he's got 8.3 billion streams or whatever it is, I imagine there's quite a few people that liked him and tuned at Romania because of it.
Puerto Rican?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, right away, they announced his tour. Montreal is one of the cities on the tour. And several people I follow on Instagram have already shared. So clearly this guy is popular, and I just have not been
how are they going to have
privy
shows
to
here?
it. In 2022.
Second half of the year?
2022.
Oh, okay, 2022.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, sick. I'm
hopefully
interested in
by
that
then
now.
we should. Yeah.
Is he going to do any moves?
Could you imagine if the Miz interrupts him mid song and
CM,
skull crushing finales him?
Head to Foofs after, and we'll get a little indie show going down.
There we go.
Do you think this? I think this hurts Damian Priest. I know he was there to help Damian Priest, but I think this hurts him because I think Bad Bunny outshined him. Am I wrong?
I think it really depends on where it goes next. I don't want to go too much into Raw right now, but he lost on the Raw after Mania in kind of in a schmozzy way. He lost in a schmoz. And so that didn't help him. I don't think the WrestleMania win on its own sort of blocks out his star at this point. It really depends on what they do with him next.
Yeah.
Because you don't want that match, if you're Damian Priest, to be the highlight of your year or quarter or half. It might be, but
we'll see.
Right away, not yet. Not yet.
He's involved in storylines. He's a part of the card. That's huge, right? So we can say
it was
is,
a huge. Maybe it was too huge though, but we'll see. Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, he just came up from NXT, and this is what he gets thrown into is this mega match. So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, maybe it's
a lot to chew right away. But he's got years ahead of him, right?
Mojo Rawley was working with Gronk, and then Gronk left, and Mojo I think is still employed by the WWE, but haven't seen him.
Don't know what he does.
Get hype, stay in the underground.
He's there.
So next, of course, we had the mega match to end night one. Predictable but entertaining nonetheless. Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks Waxman. What did you think?
Great match. And let's say it right off the bat. It was two black women main eventing WrestleMania. That is a momentous occasion. That should be celebrated. It has been celebrated. Yeah. I've seen people referring to it, and I think we've all seen this, and we all kind of are in agreement about this, as one of the best WrestleMania matches ever. It was in the top half for me. Is it one of the best? I can't put it there.
I have to watch it a couple more times. If I'm
going to have to go back and watch it.
I'd have to watch it a couple more times. The one thing that did go through my mind, and I think this is because the storyline has been built so poorly, is that it did not have the gravitas of a WrestleMania match. It didn't have the let's say Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton in 2006, right after Eddie, Daniel Bryan in 2015. I know some of you don't like him, but come on, that was a WrestleMania.
It's a moment you can get it, but his character was fully fleshed out. Bianca's still not fully fleshed out. She's still laughing at the parts she's supposed to be serious, and she breaks character all the time. She's not there yet. That's what's missing from this match. The match itself, though.
Yeah, sure. You even go back a couple years ago, Becky, Charlotte, Ronda Rousey. That was that felt like a WrestleMania main event.
Yes.
This was an excellent match. Brilliant match. Really, really good. We knew it was going to be a good match. But is it the best WrestleMania main event I've ever seen? No. Could it jump into my top 10?
No.
Yes, it could. Really? But I'd need to rewatch it.
I mean, it's not an insult to say it's not top 10 because there's been so many incredible ones. It's not insulting, you know.
If
build up matters.
That's a huge thing. Top 10 WrestleMania matches ever.
Maybe
top 10
top
main events
maybe
ever.
Maybe top 20, top 15. You know, like I said, I think it could be in the top half.
I gave it an 8.1. I thought that was fair.
In terms of historic moments, sure, but in terms of it just as a wrestling, I'm gonna have to watch again.
Yeah, I think.
My goodness.
I didn't come away from that match and go, that was one of the greatest matches I've ever seen in my life.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
It was a great match, and I really enjoyed it. Like, the whole military press thing over the top rope and throwing her in, and then, like, the relaxing of the suplex and then back up.
The hair whip.
Yeah, flipping egg. There were some good moments that I'm going to go, yeah, I will watch that match again because I enjoyed those moments. And then maybe I'll start to appreciate it more. I disagree with Brad, personally. I think that the reason that this wasn't as hyped in the build-up is not necessarily Bianca's fault. I think it's Sasha. As the veteran, she has a responsibility and a duty to carry the newbie coming in, and she didn't do that.
She needs most of the blame, then sure. But
she needs to put
Bianca still laughs when she still breaks character.
But
I don't think it's either.
I don't know if she's breaking character or if she's just like
it's the booking. Yeah.
The booking. The booking's not there either. The story's not
they
there.
They needed to commit to heel Sasha right away.
They didn't though. She was meant to be. It was face versus face.
Well, it shouldn't have been. And Brad, I know there was something you didn't like at the beginning of the match before it started. Is that Bianca broke character, and I'm sure she was overwhelmed. I don't want to harp on her, but
it's not acceptable.
Right from there, you knew she was going to win.
You can't do that. You can't play the beginning at the end.
Though?
Yes, because the character wouldn't know that they're winning the match.
Well, it's
they
not
can
about
think
winning
they're
the match.
gonna
She's
win.
just overwhelmed with the moment.
You can tell what was going on. Come on,
she's at the main event of WrestleMania,
and she knows it really
know.
looked obvious that she's like, I'm winning this. Like I know, like
it
was different from I'm excited.
I didn't take it that way. But I understand what you're saying.
I understand the point as well, but I took it as the bell's just rung on my WrestleMania moment and I'm overwhelmed by it. Not, oh my goodness, I can't believe in 15, 20 minutes I'm going to be the champion. That's not what I took away from that.
But, and maybe my standards are too high and I criticize them to the highest level of my acting ability, which isn't very high, so I don't think the bar is set too far for them to reach. You know what I mean? Like, they can do this with simple acting coaching. They cannot be playing to me, that's what it looks like. And because I've seen it in many other of her promos as well. There's that similar moments when it happens, when someone gets mad at her. Bianca as a person, when you watch her in a promo and she's speaking just as her, does those same things. So I can tell that it's breaking it, but you want to bring yourself into the character. But anyway, I'm going too far into it. The fact of the matter is, in my opinion, the story wasn't there. And the story in the match, the story was
in the
told
match
that
was pretty good.
Bianca is tougher than Sasha and dominated her and won, even though Sasha's a great wrestler. They both made each other look good, for sure, but I still think there was something missing between the two of them.
Fair.
There was more. They needed, I wish Sasha, she had moments where she brought out some scrappiness because she has to because of the power dynamic. She had some moments there that was cool. I wish there was more of it, but overall, I can remember moments of the match, which is a lot to say compared to the other matches. Like I can remember the lifting her into the ring and all these other, and obviously the hair whip, which I don't know how that's legal, but I guess as long as it's attached to you, you can use it. But it was a solid match. I think arguably the match of the night. I gave it an 8.1. I think that's pretty good.
Does anything else beat an 8.1 to you? Bad Bunny?
I didn't give back. I don't know what I gave them. I enjoyed that match maybe more than any other match.
What do you give them now?
But objectively,
just on your scale, then would that?
I don't
match
know. I did
be better than
rate it. I just forget what I rated.
I think you said it was like a 6.9 or something like that.
Really? Oof. Yeah, because
6.9 compared to an 8.1.
Incredible match, but I really liked it.
Shane O'Brien, Rollins, Cesaro.
One thing for me that I think would have helped this match in terms of its.
Oh no, I gave it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, but then did you not comment on it and change it?
And then I put 6.8. Yeah.
Oh, 6.8.
6.8. Oof.
But one thing that I think would have helped this match, and it's unfortunate because of the delay at the start. The match ended, and Bianca was like, "Yes, I'm the champion," and they went, "Oh, fantastic! Thanks, everyone. Goodbye."
Yeah.
And then ended the show. So it was kind of like, "Oh, we're not going to get to celebrate that. Fine." And then obviously we then see moments with
Montez
Ford coming out, and I would have liked to have seen more of the celebration, and I think that would have made a little bit of the match for me anyway a little bit better in terms of the emotion there. But yeah, I understand with the delay they had to quickly. We've got Chris Jericho on. Let's go.
Didn't Michael Cole botch the end? Didn't he
did
say
he?
she kicked out? Oh no!
Oh,
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
one of his many of the nights. I don't know where the
If
other
he just
ones are. I don't
kept
even care.
quiet, I think the whole night would have been better. If there's just dead
So many
silence
moments.
instead of
Be quiet.
his words.
Let the moment happen.
Just him
and
standing
sometimes
there in
they'll
his
talk.
poncho, just like
Yeah. Because he messed up a couple other times too.
Yeah, definitely a lot of humor from Michael Cole that night. But is there anything else you guys want to say about night 1 before we move into night 2?
No.
No? Let's jump into it. Night 2.
Oh.
Big breath?
I was just going to say, yeah. I mean, I think after night 1, we were all excited for night 2, thinking,
Yes.
well, if this is night 1, that the night 2 has got to be, like, up here.
Yeah, it
let's
made
go
our
with that.
expectations go up, which was not good.
NXT, night 1, and then night 2.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Let's get into it. The Fiend versus Randy Orton, of course. I was very excited about this because I'm excited about where this was going. I was probably the only one, and my goodness, they gave us something, a spectacle of sorts. It's a moment, for sure. It's a WrestleMania moment. The ending of the match is cool in and of itself. If it was to happen at maybe a different pay-per-view that's on the way to WrestleMania so that we know what the fuck is going on, instead of this really weird finish where now that we've seen Raw, we understand that Alexa Bliss seems to be going on her own. Bray Wyatt is back to the Funhouse, Firefly Funhouse version of Bray. I don't know. What do you guys think of that? I mean, the box-like structure sitting beside the ring, as Michael Cole calls it.
So, Jordan, I know of the 4 of us, I think you and Brad were the ones who are really invested in the storyline. So I want to hear what you have to say first.
So this is a match that. When did this feud start? Maybe October last year? No, it must be before that. Maybe like SummerSlam-ish, there or thereabouts.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time, right?
In a while.
You build a storyline for a couple of months up to a pay-per-view where something happens, and then you continue to build that storyline for another few months with other characters getting involved, right? You then get that, one character goes away to another storyline, and then pulls them right back in. And
Remember
then
the Sister Abigail teased with Alexa Bliss way back, and then she
all
becomes
of this happens for months and months, and every week we're seeing a little bit more, and then coughing up stuff, and then Randy's looking at himself on a telly, and you're like, "What is going on here?"
He lit
This
the
is
Fiend on
weird.
fire. Randy's face
He's
gets lit on fire, and then he's fine the next day.
Everything's going on, and months and months of work, and then you give me a 5-minute match.
Was it 5 minutes?
5 minutes.
Was it really?
It was 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
You give me
What?
5 minutes, and then the match doesn't actually end. It just kind of goes, look at me, I'm bleeding black stuff out my forehead. An RKO, and that's it done. By the way, this is the guy that a couple of years ago took 20 stomps, right? And still kicked out and beat Seth Rollins in Hell in a Cell. He takes one RKO and he's dead.
Didn't he fight the
RKO
Undertaker
is
in
the
like
most
a
deadly.
special match?
He also
too?
got. This is the same guy who got set on fire, right? In the world of wrestling, he got set on fire, and then he came back with a nose on his mask now, and he's like, "Yeah, check me. I'm going to rip your asshole out." And then a 5-minute match,
destroyed.
one RKO, and that's it done.
all that
What
hype
is
for the
that?
burnt Fiend, and this is what we get. We get a 5-minute match, and now he's back to fucking regular Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, it's not good enough. You're right. I was excited about this match, and that's what I got. I got handed a shit sandwich. There you go. It's like, there you go. Thanks for staying loyal with us. Not like
That's
Yeah.
that's what I see. Is everyone was like, I love that they're doing this slow burn with the Fiend, with Alexa, with Randy. It's slow. It's a build up, and WrestleMania. I don't care where the storyline's going next. WrestleMania is where you're supposed to get a payoff. WrestleMania, again, I think of it as the season finale of
Correct.
a television program. This is where you have your climax. I don't care if you then continue the storyline in some way later, but you need some sort of culmination. We need some sort of
Culmination.
climax. Exactly. Yes. And all this did, and again, I speak as someone who really, the storyline isn't so much for me, and I still remember thinking, like, okay, you spent all this time saying, oh, he's going to come back and beat you and do this and do that. Oh, wait, I don't need him anymore. So he can eat an RKO and then go pound sand up his ass, and that's that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Really, really disappointing. Really disappointing. As somebody who really enjoyed, or still enjoys, The Fiend and that whole gimmick, I was pretty upset with that.
I don't know who Bray Wyatt pissed off. He just cannot get... He's doing all these things. He's creative. He's intelligent. He's a company guy. He's sticking with it. He's giving them all these great ideas. He's and they're like, yeah, okay, but you're gonna lose it when it matters.
Yeah,
you're gonna eat shit every single time
because some girl's gonna bleed out of her head.
Yeah.
Done.
Anything to say on this one, Jay?
I mean, the only disturbing thing is like the Fiend, like Jordan said, the Fiend to me, watching his previous matches, you could do anything to him. You could shoot him in the head and he wouldn't die. You could throw him through a million burning tables, and he wouldn't lose. And then he just takes one RKO and he loses. That's the main problem I had. I guess the RKO is now the strongest move in the history of the world, and no one better kick out of this move ever again. And as long as that stays true, then I guess it's okay.
All right, so after that disappointment, let's jump into the next match, the women's. I don't know who wants to talk about this one.
Did you know, I'm looking at the match times now, did you know that this was the second longest match of the night?
Yeah.
Really?
It was it was longer than the women's title match.
Yeah, it was.
I think the times were really like, that's what I noticed at the end of these two nights. The times for the matches were really off. I didn't know how to feel about them. Some of them felt like they were zoomed through, and others took too long. And looking at the numbers, I guess that's true. Like, everything just feels out of whack.
Your feeling was right, yeah.
I think the difference there is there's so much. I mean, these times are bell to bell, right? So, for example, the Randy Orton Fiend match, there was so much happened before the bell in terms of the box and the cranking and all the crap that went on around.
I liked all of that too. I thought it was going to be so
like it was a good build.
Sick.
But then you do all
He's
that
rising
build.
out of that box like Striker Muggle.
You do all that build, and then you get a 5-minute match, and then the same with. I'm trying to think of another one that had a kind of similar feel. Yeah, like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn was 9 minutes long. That's not
What?
very,
That feels right. That feels right.
Yeah,
No, they
I mean,
got to get
felt rushed.
15.
It felt rushed.
it did feel
No,
rushed.
Oh, it seems like you're accurate into your predictions.
Yeah,
like your
it did feel a little bit rushed, but
thoughts.
that match, that whole segment was much longer than that because you had a bit before it and a bit after it. But bell to bell, it was 9 minutes. So it does throw it off.
I could watch them wrestle for half an hour, so maybe that's my vibe.
Giving them 9 minutes was ridiculous.
Sammy and KO at WrestleMania with Logan Paul, and they get an 8-minute match?
Yeah.
I don't know. It is what it is, obviously, but they deserve more. But again, that women's match, is there anything you guys want to say about it?
No. I really thought Natalya and Tamina
we already moved on and started talking about other stuff.
Yeah, I don't have much to say. I think
I
think the wrong tag team won.
Yeah.
Where was Reggie? Yeah. What happened to him?
Where was Reggie?
Contract expired the night before. Like, what the fuck?
He was in all the graphics too. He was in all the graphics. Did he fall off a cliff? Did he flip into the space-time continuum, or
Got lost in a suit shop or something? Yeah.
Frank the Tank.
Yeah, it was a fine match. Like, it was
Crooked ass tail.
It did its job, but it wasn't overly exciting. And the wrong person or the wrong tag team, won. That there's not much more you need to say about it, I guess.
Frank agrees.
Yeah, thanks, Frank. Oh.
Excuse me.
Oh,
Okay.
Barking.
He's got something to say.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk about this match much more.
Let's
Anyway,
move
let's
on.
just move on from that one. That was what it was. Let's jump into the next one, which was KO versus Sammy, featuring Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Who wants to take over this one?
I very
Go for it,
briefly
Jay.
this match.
Jay Orden.
Oh, there you go. This match did
Double J's.
exactly what it needed to do. Okay, and it was just draw attention to the WWE and WrestleMania. I was out today having a casual sit down on a bench with a good friend, Jake the Snake,
Oh, yes.
which was delightful. And he
Jake
turned
the Snake,
to me.
Jake the Rat.
This is the guy who, by the way, can't spell WWE, right? And
Can't spell anything.
he turns to me and goes, "Hey, by the way, were you watching that Mania thing?" And I said, "Yeah, I was." And he was like, "Oh, yeah. I heard Logan Paul was on it." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right." And he knows nothing about wrestling, but he said, "Yeah, I heard he was on it. I watched that bit where the big guy with the beard, like, Stone Cold stunnered him." And I was like, "Yeah." So this match did exactly what it needed to. It was draw other people who don't watch wrestling into either just that moment or the whole show. The match was fine. It wasn't a spectacular match between those two, which is a shame because we've seen what they can do. But yeah, it did what it needed to. It drew some attention to the middle of the card.
Yeah, I could watch those guys wrestle every week. Honestly, they have so much chemistry. They know each other so well. They've been wrestling each other since the days at FUFs, most likely, back in those indie shows. And yeah, I mean, Logan did what he was there to do. The second he got in the ring after the match, you knew he was going to eat a stunner. He ate it pretty well.
He did.
Loved
yeah,
it.
did what it needed to
It was
do.
what we wanted. We wanted that, and you know what? You do have to, he had to agree to that. He had to take the stunner. He had to eat it, and he sold it well enough. And
Yeah, it was a good sport.
you never know, right? So kudos to him.
Yeah, I don't know. What they did was good, but obviously they didn't get enough time, so I didn't really, I didn't feel good after the match. I was like, it was just like an average match. It wasn't a WrestleMania match, like you said. I guess it's just to have Logan Paul there. But I will say, like, after the match, that was the first stunner that really gave me Austin vibes. I think I tweeted that. Just the way it
Yes.
was leading up to it, and KO's mannerisms, like he knew he was gonna do it. The crowd was in on it. It just really felt like an Austin stunner coming, and that was cool.
Gets up
at
after and
least.
starts strutting
so
away. Like,
So maybe that's almost the christening of the real stunners to come now. Like now he's really
maybe.
Like I don't know. Like it just felt good. Like all his other ones were like, this one felt good. The way he sold it, I don't know if you guys liked it. I had never seen anyone sell it like that. Are you supposed to sell it on your knees, aren't you? You go down on your knees.
I think he
Supposed
sold
to.
it
So hard with
fine
that.
for someone who's never set foot in a wrestling
Yeah.
ring before.
But it's not hard to go down on your knees. No one tells him, or does he say sell it how you want? Like
I guess. Well, yeah. I mean,
he sold it to make it look more realistic, I guess, because it was really
Yeah.
jerky and like weird.
It's also a split. Like, I know I'm defending him. It's also a split-second thing. So maybe his first thought isn't, "Oh, well, I know I have to go on my knees here."
well, I'm sure
I
he
don't know.
planned ahead. Like he knew it was coming.
Probably. I don't know.
go back and
if
watch.
you sell, you know how I mean, like Kane used to sell it on one knee, which is kind of whack. Some people
Yeah.
just go down and don't even go on any.
Kind of
knees.
whack. It was fully whack. We all agreed it was so horrible.
Yeah, but
it was
shout out
safe,
to the Hall of Famer.
right?
But
Of course, huge Kane mark, but that was
I think he kind of sold it like McMahon, where you just kind of go down with him and just
Gonna
flop
fail.
like a fish. Yeah, you just kind of collapse onto the ground after.
yeah.
So,
You're just
yeah.
dead.
Anyways,
Rather
props,
than like
props
The
to him
Rock.
for taking it, because anything can happen. He didn't have to take it, and he did. So, props.
Yeah.
There you
So
go.
definitely enjoyed that. Obviously, great. Now that leads us into Sheamus versus Riddle, and the promo before was the best part for me with RVD, and he's talking about his rolling papers. So I ordered some right away. Of course, those are on the way, along with an autographed RVD like trading card.
Amazing.
Which is very cheap. So check out his eBay store. Shout out RVD. Stuff is not expensive. You can get an RVD autograph. Pretty awesome.
Do you guys think the Great Khali was meant to just stare at him,
I
at Riddle,
don't
when he was?
think so.
Yeah,
I think he was meant to say something the way Riddle reacted, because he kind of corpsed a bit. Just a
He kind of
tiny
looked at
bit.
him and just went, "You're not gonna say
kind of-
anything."
He kind of like smiled and snickered a bit. Nothing. You're not gonna say.
Yeah,
That's
anything?
where it's forgivable in a
He
moment
had
like that.
no idea what was going on.
I thought that was
Not a-
better than
It's
anything
not
he
a
probably would
serious
have said,
situation.
though. So
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's true. Don't say anything. Just
RVD picked it
stand
up really well. Let me translate for you. This. It was fine. I just thought it was. I think there was supposed to be a line there.
Bro.
Yeah. Good match,
But
though.
you know, the match itself was definitely good. There's some stiff fucking shots in there for sure. My
Bro
goodness. And
kick in midair was.
that
Riddle
brogue to the
takes a beating.
face.
He takes it all.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I guess
What's with the
he's
doves or the
former
birds?
UFC or MMA. Sorry.
Yeah. Is it?
So
He did
yeah,
MMA before.
Yeah, so he's MMA before, so I guess he's probably used to getting kicked in the face by a giant ginger man. So
Yeah, it was good. I really surprised. I really am surprised that Sheamus won because they seem to really like Riddle. I thought they wanted to keep the U.S. title on him for a little bit.
yeah,
But we'll see. We'll see.
And
I'm
I
sure
thought
he's
he was
going to be
gonna
around.
get jobbed out the next day. He was on Raw against Bobby Lashley to open the show. So first of all, you're fighting the champion. So you're still a newcomer. This is a big moment. Even though it's like, I was like, fuck, he's going to get squashed.
Yeah.
The match lasted a long time. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Bobby had to beat the shit out of him to be able to beat him. So he looked good in that. And Bobby doesn't look weak for not being able to beat Riddle. It just looks like Riddle is a little Shawn Michaels-esque in his ability to come back after, an hour of beatings. He can just all of a sudden snap back, and you never know. So definitely enjoyed that as well on Raw. That was one of the only high points for me. But there was a little bit of a slip in that match. Otherwise, it was executed almost perfectly. And he did save it. He was trying to do the white noise off the top.
Yeah.
oh
that was
of
bad.
course.
That was
Forgot about
unfortunate.
That
Yeah,
unfortunate moment, but he didn't slip and fall. It was a huge botch. He was able to hold it together and kind of keep it within kayfabe. So good job there, I think. 'cause
I
it
don't
could
have a
gone
problem with moments
even
like
worse.
that happening. It's
Because
fine.
it- if it was a real fight, you try to do something like that, you could fall. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I don't have a problem with
Right,
that.
so
Just
it's all
don't.
about how you react to it.
Yeah.
It for me, it's all about the commentary over and above
That
it.
too.
So like if you see like a botch like that, and then Michael Cole goes, "I don't think he got all of that." We got none of that. So don't lie
Just
to
say,
me.
oh, he missed.
Just say,
what
"Oh,
was that?
he slipped," or just play along with it.
There was
Yeah.
a move that was really missed, and he said, "I don't think I got all of that." I forget what move it was.
I think
what-
it was a kick. Was it maybe
There was a few
oh,
throughout
was
the
it
night.
Maybe
honestly.
a knee
There's
or
quite a
something.
few.
I don't know, but yeah.
Especially in the match earlier, in that tag match of sorts. But anyway, there's not too much to say about that one. Is there anything else you guys want to close out on that one with?
They should have gave the WWE Championship to Riddle on Monday Night Raw, and that's all I gotta say.
That would have been sick, but not good for
Bro.
Bobby, obviously.
Yeah.
Bro.
Anyway, yeah, that's that one. Solid match for sure.
Mhm.
That leads us into Apollo Crews versus Big E. What did you guys think of
Yabba dabba
this?
doo.
Yeah.
Yabba dabba Kato.
Who is that?
So
Who is
Nigerian drum fight is basically a street fight with some drums around. I didn't see anyone get hit really with a drum.
One
but-
thrown into right at the beginning. He threw him into them,
Yeah.
sort of, but you couldn't even see it because the camera didn't show it. It just looked like he got thrown into the
It
barricade. and
hit
that
the
was
drum
it.
quota. We can ignore
Oh,
it
yeah,
now.
and he threw the gong.
The gong
which-
was
How do you
cool.
not use the gong?
Uh,
The sound it makes is beautiful. You hit someone over the head with that? Come on.
good match. I think the right person won, given the circumstances. What kind of ruined it for me is not so much the schmoz. It's not the schmoz itself. I kind of like that Apollo now has a big guy with him. It was that we all knew it was Dabba-Kato. It was clearly Dabba-Kato. And they're just like, even on WWE's Twitter account, they're like, who is this? Who's this man? And everyone's like, are you kidding me? Like, I get we're trying to erase Raw Underground from the collective memories of the people, but we know it's Dabba-Kato. You could just say, oh my god, it's Dabba-Kato. What's he doing here? Why is he with Apollo? That
He
alone
escaped
would have
the
been a lot more.
Underground.
Yeah, he escaped. We haven't seen him in months. You don't have to
demolished
mention
that
Raw
place.
Underground at all, but just say, who is this
Yeah, just-
man? It's a very distinct
If
looking
you're
man.
going to have him on the show, you got to have a name. Come on. And he's been on TV before. He's
On the same I don't know. It's just annoying.
This whole feud has been disappointing because they built it up to the point where I'm like, okay, these guys are gonna kill each other, and then they had that botched, weird roll-up double pin finish. So then I thought this match was going to be a memorable match. I was looking forward to this. I thought it was going to be on the level of Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly levels of brutality and spots, and it wasn't.
It started out like
close.
that with those kendo shots were really
true.
fucking
That was a
brutal at the
great
beginning.
start to the match.
And I was like, here we go.
Yeah.
And you're right. It just
It's
went
just
down.
such an
from there.
underwhelming-
Can't go
Yeah.
down.
great,
like have to go up.
Great start to the match with, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this. You take this, I'll take this, and let's just beat the living shit out of each other. Let's
More
go.
of the big moments in the match were missed shots, right? When Apollo was going to throw the steps and he missed, and then someone else
all know
That
that's
missed.
can't be
gonna
the
miss.
biggest
It's those-
spots. The
those are
misses
stupid
can't be the
spots,
biggest
we know.
spots.
Imagine he actually hits that spot. No one's going to feel good about that.
I don't even want to see that.
No, I don't want to see that.
I don't want to see that.
Oh God, he killed him.
But it's like everything around the matches I liked, and then when the matches actually happened, I didn't like any of the matches these guys had. I think they all under-delivered. And both of them are capable of more. That's why I hoped for more.
I agree.
All right. So it is.
It was a
is.
short
See
match
what-
too. I was
they go
surprised to
6 minutes.
see it was a
Short.
6-minute match. Yeah, it could have gone
6
longer.
minutes? Are you serious?
Yeah,
6 bell to
That
bell.
is insane.
Bell to bell, 6 minutes.
That's insane. That's so stupid. I didn't know it was
What?
that short. My
Biggie does
God.
not deserve to lose in a hardcore match in 6 minutes. For fuck's sake.
Intercontinental Championship match, 6 minutes at
With
WrestleMania.
that's like insane. I can't
I
believe
also think aside from Randy Orton and the Fiend, and I guess also might be on par with Roman, Daniel, and Edge. This was the longest feud on this night,
Yeah.
so it deserved more than 6 minutes.
6 minute payoff. It's going to continue then, I guess.
But I
right?
guess that's
it's-
the point. It's going to continue, right?
But still, give me a good match.
But
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania shouldn't be the chapter. It should be
Yeah.
the culmination. It should be the finality. We did it last year with Orton and Edge too.
It can be the step-off point. It can be a. It can be a.
I
It can
get-
be
it
a,
could be-
bouncing pad. But it's
Sure.
got to
We've
be
already
a
had
big
like 4
fucking
matches,
thing.
so it's not like this is the first or second match. Like that's why this
Yeah,
is supposed
exactly.
to be the
It's
payoff.
true. It's not the culmination of this new hot feud. It's
It was
just
all
like
just to reintroduce Dabba Kato. All of this was just to bring back Yabba Dabba Doo Kato.
insane. What a moment! Not. So that brings us to Asuka versus Rhea. Wax, take it away.
This
is my brutality. Great live entrance by Shotzi Light. Ash Costello. I think she looks a bit like Shotzi. It's just the hair, and I think the face too. But really cool. I was
She
going
looks
to
like her.
say,
It's just the face, though.
yeah, she just looks like her face and her hair and her everything, but not everything. I was going to say usually a live entrance means you win, but Big E had Wale in his entrance, and he lost.
I
He
even
didn't
forgot
perform,
about that
though.
because
He didn't
it
actually
was
say
not
anything.
memorable.
It's true. Ash Costello actually, you could tell she was actually singing, which was really cool. I'm glad that this match went the way it did. I think they were trying to make Rhea the heel here because she was slapping Asuka. Oh, you like that, Asuka? Just slapping her around in the head. Crikey, yeah.
Wow.
But it worked. Asuka hasn't had a meaningful feud in a very long time, and I think we kind of just need to refresh the Raw Women's Championship, and who better than Rhea Ripley?
Oh.
Who better than Rhea Ripley? She's awesome, and did you know she's only 24 years old? She could be around for a very long time in the
Already.
WWE.
Wow.
Look at the size of her. Also, she's strong.
How tall do you think she is?
I want to say she's 5'10".
7 foot.
5.
How tall is she?
I was
Jason?
surprised. She's 5'7". I thought she was like 5'10" too.
It just
She's
shows
my
how
height.
it shows how small some of the women in that division
it's
are.
true.
How
Asuka
tall-
must be like
how tall is
5'2".
Charlotte?
I think Charlotte's like 7'1".
Her legs were on Monday night.
It's true. I guess it shows. But obviously, relative to the rest of the women's division, she's tall.
Yeah.
She looks like a powerhouse. She's not afraid to get into brutal matches, hence the brutality. And the right person won this one. I think, again, we just need to refresh the Raw Women's Division, and starting with a new champion. It gives Asuka a place as a challenger now, gives her something to do, and now it seems like Charlotte Flair is going to jump in that also. So I was happy with that.
Good match. I enjoyed it. Crap finish. Didn't really enjoy the finish. It seemed like I know, what's her move called again? The Rhea Bomb.
It's a weak fucking finish. Come on.
What's it called again?
I know it. I can't remember.
Think about it, Wax, and let us know. But yeah, it didn't seem like she... Classic Michael Cole. She didn't get all of it. It seemed like she couldn't quite lift her right. So yeah, it was a good match. I enjoyed the match. Weak finish, particularly for somebody like Asuka, who I think deserved perhaps a little bit more than just that. But yeah, I'm happy she won. I think she deserves it.
I don't think she deserves it. I mean, I don't. I think Asuka deserves a lot better, and I don't like what happened at all. I don't even like the fact that the match took place. I mean, if you're going to make the match, and I guess you can't have Rhea Ripley lose again, so I guess you have to give it to her. But I don't like it. I think Asuka's amazing. I don't think they've let her show her talent or put her in a real program to do that. And then she has this match where, like you said, it didn't end very well. It didn't make her look that good.
No.
I don't know. I love Asuka. Like you said, Rhea Ripley's 24. She's got plenty of time. She comes into WrestleMania, wins it right away. Like, I don't know. I just don't feel good about it. But
I think for this version of Asuka, it was a fitting end for
version.
For the women who didn't actually win the championship. She just climbed the WWE headquarters quick enough to get a briefcase.
It
had a title in it. Like, for this version of
Asuka's
Asuka,
a goat, though.
and the feuds she's had. I mean, there's only been 2, I think, in however long that she's had it. It was a fitting end. But yeah,
I think that's
Asuka,
it. We need to rejuvenate it. By the way,
Yeah.
Riptide is Rhea Ripley's finisher.
the Riptide.
Right.
But yeah, I don't. For me in general, I just don't like where people come up and they get an instant title shot. I guess that's why it kind of irks me.
She was at WrestleMania last year, though.
For
Yeah,
the
but-
NXT title.
Exactly, and then she goes away and she comes back and now it's for the main title. Like I just don't personally like that. I don't know.
I do wish she had, right after the Rumble, started right away on Raw.
Something. Give me something.
I
It's
would
like,
say
all
that-
so she's like Brock Lesnar. Like, she could just come in and have title matches and not have to do anything else.
I would say,
she's not
though,
that level.
I think part of this is definitely Charlotte and COVID, right? I mean,
Maybe.
I mean, I
And
don't
let
think this
Asuka
was the...
keep it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but I imagine
But,
that's
like,
something to play in it.
Ultimately, I think she's great. Like, and I'm looking forward to what's going to happen. Even if I didn't like the way we started it, whatever. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah. If you don't like people just coming in and getting a title shot, Jason, you really should get into this other show called AEW. They have wins and losses records, and actually that was demonstrated this week on AEW. Just jumping into it very quickly, there was a promo with Britt Baker, and in it she says, "I've done enough. I've proved that I deserve a title shot, and I'm coming for you next." And
Did she
then
lose?
yes, but it was what do you call it match?
The bloody dentist match?
Unsanctioned or whatever.
Oh,
so
it was unsanctioned, so it didn't even count.
towards the ratings. And she was like, "I've done so much for this division in terms of respect and publicity
Okay,
and
fair
all that." And then she was told, "No, because you're 4th in the rankings. There's 3 other people that deserve a shot before you."
Logic. Interesting.
So yeah, if you're into that, then you definitely
But
should watch AEW.
in WWE, get to the back of the line when you lose, like Drew McIntyre, means one match and you're back to the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think even my valet watching was like, because we watched both NXT. She's seen AEW before. She saw the Britt Baker match, and she's like, "Why isn't Britt Baker in WWE?" I was like, I mean, there's rumors about her going over, especially because of her connections there. the same time, does she want to? She's now like the #1 female star on AEW, in my opinion. So she could stay there. And she also said, why are all these idiots on the main show, like Waxman said earlier, and the best talent is in NXT? Even she could see it, and she's only just started watching wrestling with me now, and she's like, she's so, like, her coming into this and just trying to get into wrestling, and to see, like, Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose in matches, but then to see what's going on in NXT, she's like, you know, like, this is so horrible. Like, they say they're having this women's movement, and this is what they're giving us, and I'm like, I know, but at least there was, you know, the big one, night one there, of course, we both really enjoyed, and there was some.
I hate to say it, but the women's movement is becoming a bit of a women's stagnant as of late. It's a shame.
It's a lot of this.
It's not due to lack of talent. It's not. It's due to lack of creative,
lack of opportunity
around them, lack of opportunity.
Bad booking, not enough promo time. It's tough, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot there, and there's not enough airtime. But like you said earlier, you're talking about the Riot Squad not getting enough and not getting to know them. They have these things where they go on the after one, on Talking Smack, and all these things. There are promos happening from people and stuff on there that we're not seeing. But it builds the character. It's in character, and WWE does talk about it later on the shows, but if you haven't seen it. Anyway, I know what you mean, right? Because it's not in the main show.
They should show it on the main show. Like, this is what happened on Talking.
I think so. Like, there's that one with, who used to be with Billy Kay? Peyton Royce had a good promo.
Oh, yeah, of
Natty
course.
had a really good promo with
Cesaro
Paul
had
Heyman.
one. Yeah.
Cesaro had a good one, and these ones don't get enough play.
They got 3 hours. They can't fit it in somewhere. They got to put it.
Why are they happening after the show with these great moments? Anyway, let's. I digress on that one. Bailey, super funny, was my next note here. So that must have been when we had all that pish. That leads us into Roman Reigns, the head of the table, versus Edge. The rated R superstar is back versus Daniel Butthead Bryan. The Yes Movement was in full effect. I was nervous. I had no idea what was going to happen in this match. Jason, Roman is your guy. I mean, Jordan, you have his shirt. You're a big Roman guy. I'm a big Roman guy, but I think Jason kicked it off. So why don't you tell us what you thought of this one?
It definitely didn't disappoint. They did a good job of, separating each other so they can have one-on-one moments. No one really came out of it looking bad. I liked how they used Jey Uso to begin with. They had to find a way to get him out, obviously, because he's just super kicking everyone. It's like, okay, this is going to be easy. He could just beat everyone up. What's going to happen? So they did a good job getting him out for a while. You knew he was going to come back. I don't know. I overall enjoyed it. I'm not surprised with the ending because Roman is so protected. He's so good. And I feel like losing would really hurt him. Like, I don't know. I just feel like for him, because even though in our heads and everything, he's like this unbeatable guy, he obviously gets a lot of help to win. But he's so cool and good in his character that we almost overlook that. Like, he's not a cowardly heel, even though in a lot of ways he kind of is. And I think it would have really hurt him to lose this match. So the right decision was made. The other two guys, it's just like a feel-good story, I guess, even though they've been doing some of the best work of their lives at the same time.
Crazy,
So I don't know.
And
do you guys
both
think
back
it's
from
over?
neck surgeries. Both of these guys' careers were supposed to have been over. Roman Reigns overcame cancer. So all three of these guys have overcome seemingly
They all have
unsurmountable
babyface stories.
odds. Like, in outside of the wrestling, outside of kayfabe, but absolutely fantastic job, all three of these guys. My goodness.
Yeah,
But,
I think they were all phenomenal, and the thing for me was I genuinely couldn't tell who was going to win for the entirety of the match. I couldn't tell.
Same.
I thought it was Roman at one point. I then thought I was like, oh my goodness, it's got to be Daniel Bryan, and then I'm like, no, it's Edge. And then obviously we see that Roman comes out on top.
Yeah.
That's exactly. That's it. Yeah, that's exactly what I want. I want to watch a match where I genuinely don't know what's going to happen. I'm excited for it already because the build-up has been so good on SmackDown for this. It was just a really great way to end WrestleMania. A match that I'm excited for, a match that I know is going to deliver and does, and I don't know what's going to happen in it. Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Despite Night 2's issues, you can't complain about how it ended. Some of the spots in this match, Edge giving Roman the crippler crossface with the chair leg, and then Daniel Bryan coming and locking in the yes lock just as Roman was about to tap.
Even that chair piece, the way the chair exploded and he held the piece, I thought it was like a mistake or something.
Too perfect.
He's like, oh,
his face was hilarious when he saw that piece. He's like,
so good.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think all three of them had to dish out a little money because I don't remember the last time I saw concerto shots in a WWE ring for obvious
those are actually really
reasons.
safe, though.
Are they? They did look like it went down on an angle, and he more like hit the.
It's really easy, I think, to fuck it up and break their head, and also the sound so close to your ear must be pretty fucked up.
Yeah. Tinnitus is a risk. Yes,
tinnitus.
That's why I would not take
So
a
I suspect they may still have had to dish out a little bit of money, but it definitely worked because once the concertos were done, it was game over for Daniel. It was game over for Edge. And I think a bit of it, I don't really buy into the controversy. Well, technically Edge pinned Daniel Bryan. I think both of their shoulders were on the mat. It's legal. It was for the story. Who gives a shit? Roman wins.
Yeah.
I don't. How did you feel about the ending? Like Jay just comes in and then, like all that happens. Jay comes back. I don't know how I feel about it. Like it makes sense.
It's okay.
Like what Jordan was saying. I didn't know who was gonna win, and I didn't know how it could end. There's no perfect ending, right? So for such a great build-up, such a great match, so I guess it made sense. It goes along, it made sense.
Did you leave feeling unsatisfied?
No.
Because moment of Roman getting that double pin and coming up and just knowing that Roman just beat Daniel Bryan and Edge and pinned both of them in the ring like that at the main event of WrestleMania was just such like a holy shit,
I wasn't unsatisfied. I guess just sad that it was over because it was the best. I think it was the best match of the whole 2 nights.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Personally.
Yeah.
I think, for me, I would like to see Roman win clean. I don't think I've seen Roman win a match for months clean. Well,
does it feel
like a
that
big
way,
title
though?
match. No, it doesn't.
Does it feel?
It
Why
doesn't
not,
at
though?
all.
This is a good heel.
They're doing a good job of it. I can't explain it, but I think that if he was going to ever win clean to just prove who he is, WrestleMania probably would have been the place to do that. But I understand.
It's not time yet. I still want this head of the table Uso involvement. I'm still like that's the character that he is now.
Yeah.
And maybe you're right. Going forward, it would be nice to get some, but I don't think it was necessary here.
He's got to lose.
Backlash.
He's got to lose the right match.
What the fuck is WrestleMania
the right
Backlash?
way? Yeah.
Fuck is this?
So who's going to beat him though? On the roster right now, who's going to beat Roman clean?
I don't know about
Cesaro.
clean, but I was going to say Cesaro. If they build him right, I think he
If
could
they
be an
build
interesting
Cesaro,
candidate.
Absolutely.
Has to
I
be
don't wanna see
Cesaro,
that, but-
Braun, Drew, Randy Orton.
Bronze on Raw. So
No,
definitely
Raw.
I want
Yeah.
someone new. I don't want the three
That
guys
Kevin
who
Owens
just competed
could.
to. Kevin Owens could do it, especially if he starts adopting this. I'm going to stunner anybody who steps into the ring with me.
Yeah.
He could do it against Cesaro if they build him. Seth could probably
Seth.
do a great
Seth
feud.
Rollins, yeah,
It's
definitely.
heel versus heel, though.
Yeah, I was interesting about this was Roman was getting more mixed reaction than ever before. He's still getting booed. I think that's still like the kid influence or whatever. I don't know who it is that is hating on him right now.
No, but he's
Maybe it's
supposed
just
to
because
get
of the
booed.
I think they're
Yeah, he's
plugging
supposed
in
to in the
some sound
storyline,
also.
right? Most likely, especially now we're back into the Thunderdome. It sucks going back into the Thunderdome now for that specific reason.
Yeah.
Watching Raw and we could have showered them with booze. We don't get that opportunity. But yeah, definitely he is getting a lot of cheers, I think, but still getting a lot of booze.
Yeah, I think that it's good that it's mixed because that's what a live audience is, right? If you just get booze, that's when you know it's fake. So
Yeah, definitely, and it's good heat there. And I mean,
it's
what
good
a
they've
Mania,
now
guys,
they've now started to record some stuff from Mania so that they can replay that audience stuff for the next few months. So
Yeah, it's true. Actually, they just got their catalog back filled.
yeah.
But I really enjoyed WrestleMania 2 night. It was a lot of wrestling, but it's good timing, especially with everything going on. We weren't able to do much else, so Sucks for my valet and their birthday happened to be this weekend, but lots of wrestling
Tough.
had to happen, and it was awesome. I was entertained.
Let's hear overall both nights rating.
Ooh.
If you want to do it night 1 and night 2 separate, I'll allow it also.
I gotta think.
Just dropping that one in there.
I'd love to put. I mean, I have to rate the other manias to know where I'm at on this. You know, I've never gone through and just rated them all, but it feels like I was entertained. It had celebrities. It had surprises. It had good. It had pish. I gotta put it up there, like a 7, 9, 8, 1 type range.
Really,
gotta
as high as
see-
that?
I just had a lot of fun. I thought it was really great. And all
it's-
WrestleManias are really good,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking like the best WrestleManias being like a 9.6, 7, 8, and then we're going down from there. So to give this, high 7s, low 8s, I don't think is too crazy
No,
based on
no.
how I'm thinking right now.
Fair.
I could be wrong. I'm interested to
I'd
hear
be
what
in
you
the
guys say.
7s too, for what it's worth. I'd be in the 7s, but I was thinking more like 7.4, 7.5, around there.
Okay. Jason, the underwhelmed.
It's like I don't know, 6.1.
Whoa.
6-1.
I didn't think it was that good, honestly. I was underwhelmed. I was kind of disappointed overall, but the main events lived up to what they should be, so that was good. Bad Bunny, I love that. Bad Bunny. There's moments,
Rhea Ripley
moments I
winning.
enjoyed, but overall, just looking at the match times and everything, there's so much
for
stuff is
Sasha.
off. It just makes no
Rollins,
sense.
Cesaro.
Intercontinental match, I was like the second most. Like I was looking forward to that the second most, and that was a 6-minute horrible match for such a there wasn't enough payoff for
Yeah.
certain feuds. Like how disappointing was the Fiend match? The Intercontinental match was disappointing. There's so many disappoint. I can't give it any more
I'm
than a
answering
6-1.
too soon after just talking about Roman Reigns' match, and I'm too hyped off that alone. And
Yeah.
I'm just looking at like
Yeah, I just
the matches that I enjoyed in this were really good, and I think I've blocked out all the pish, and that's where my rating is coming from. I'm just like, none of that stuff happened. There was no horrible women's tag team on night 2.
Yeah. I
one
was
was great.
I was in the 7-2, 7-4 region as well. I think it
6-1,
wasn't.
same as my height. That's what it gets.
So maybe I went too high on that one. We could definitely revisit that. I'd love to go
No,
through
if
and,
you liked it that much, it's fine. I was just really disappointed with it.
yeah, and I think I'm remembering the moments that I enjoyed, and maybe that's where it's coming from. Like I'm saying, that Roman Edge Daniel Bryan match was so good. Asuka versus Rhea Ripley, what can you
I
expect
didn't like
there?
that match.
The finish was weak, but I thought the match was okay.
It was
I think it's more the
okay.
moment
It
of
was
her
okay.
winning. Rhea
was
Ripley
okay.
winning at WrestleMania is what I remember. I think more than the match. Is that possible?
Possibly.
KO versus Sammy.
Yeah, but it wasn't good. Like KO versus
Sheamus
Sammy's
versus
done
Riddle?
so much better so many other times.
Yeah.
Sheamus, Shane McMahon's had so many better WrestleMania matches. One of his
It was
worst.
still a good match, though.
But I gotta rate it from what I've seen and what I expect. It's still a
True.
passing grade, 6.1.
His name is Jason the Underwhelmed. If
Like you would never watch this WrestleMania
you
again.
know,
Probably would never revisit it. No, there's really nothing on there that no.
interesting.
Fair enough.
I would watch both main events again.
That's maybe it. Put them.
We
yeah.
need to watch that we need to watch that main event again, all of us, because I want to talk about it next week and see how you guys feel about it now that we've had time to digest. Rewatch it with everyone saying that it's this greatest match in WrestleMania history, and
I think that's a
see
lot
what
of
our take
like
is.
fandom speaking, maybe. And it
Yeah.
was a historical moment, so I give
Yeah.
it credit. But like, it
We
was a
can
good
we
match,
can
really good
absolutely
match.
watch it again and see what we
Yeah.
think on second viewing.
WrestleMania weekend, what an event it was. There's two things. The Raw after WrestleMania, there's usually some debuts, some
I
exciting
think
stuff.
that adds to my disappointment too. The Raw
Yeah.
sucked.
but Eric and Ivar was like the big return.
And
like,
I don't even care at all about them. I
Uh,
don't like them whatsoever. I thought
no
they were
disres- yeah.
released.
no disrespect to them, but
No disrespect, but I don't like
Raw after Mania is that's a lot of hype, and that and Charlotte looked, new and improved and ready to go. Great promo by her, I thought, with telling everyone who's been complaining to shut the hell up and get on her level, and that's what I wanted to hear from her. And I think she's a force to be reckoned with. And I don't know where they go with her from here. I don't know, like, what do they do with her? What do they do with Bailey? Becky
Going for
Lynch
the
is
title.
waiting in the wings. Like,
She cut a nice promo, but that I don't consider her a return. She was gone for a month. Viking Raiders, no disrespect to them, but that's, you know, I figured with them returning so soon, it's like, okay, who else is coming out? And this is sort of the downside of now. You make Raw after Mania a thing. It wasn't always a thing. It's become a thing, and now you've kind of ruined it because, admittedly, it's the fandom's. I don't want to say it's the fandom's fault, but in the fandom, you hear names, right? You hear Brock Lesnar. You hear Becky Lynch. There was a big rumor that Samoa Joe was moved back to the active roster. So, and then nothing really happens, and no one gets called up from NXT either. Not even Finn.
The one
not
thing,
even
the one thing I think we need to remember is, for me anyway, when I think about the Raw after Mania, it's when you don't have two distinct rosters. So we still have a SmackDown after Mania, and actually, are any of those call-ups going to appear on the SmackDown? Who knows? I guess we'll tune in on Friday and find out.
I think I won't be tuning into that one live, but I will check it out after. I've been burned
some plans
from last
or what?
night.
What's going on here?
I have plans, and I also wasted 3 hours of my life yesterday watching that pish, and I don't want, I hope you're right, Jordan, and I think you very well could be, but I will catch the highlights this time. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, won't get fooled
Seamus.
again.
Yeah.
I mean, if you watch SmackDown after it's over without the commercials, it's super digestible. It's like less than an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. So, NXT is on Tuesdays now, moving away from the AEW direct competition.
They scared. They did show a sign in AEW. There was someone holding up a sign that said the Wednesday Night War is over.
Yeah. Class.
And they won, so interesting for sure. I definitely go check out that promo from Chris Jericho, and thank you guys so much for putting in all the time this weekend and watching so much wrestling so we could deliver it to all the jobbers out there in the Jobberverse. Our thoughts and bad takes. Is there anything else you guys want to say in closing from this underwhelming WrestleMania?
Nothing from me.
Yeah, I don't know. It was underwhelming, but overall enjoyable, I guess. Just this, I was happy to see the fans back. Obviously, everyone was commenting on that, so props for that. Hopefully, all the shows will have fans soon, and take it from there. I don't know.
Yep. That's
Jordan just disappeared, so it's probably good timing.
Disappear.
Can you still hear us?
No.
No.
well.
Fantastic.
I think now's as good a time as any.
Thank you so much for listening / watching another episode of the Four Jobbers podcast. On behalf of the Wax Mamba, on behalf of Jason the Underwhelmed, sponsored by Kit Kat, and on behalf of Jordan the Moose, the body from Kirkcaldy Deeves, we'll catch you next time. Thank you so much for listening.